digest. From lane to the new shining ground, echo chants where the legends are found. Heroes carved in the heart of time, we march on through grit and grime. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. I'm Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire.
Yeah, let's bring me and Billy in first. Yeah, let's do that, and then we can actually do a show. Both of us sitting in the background, look at waving at each other. We're here. We're here. Right. Right. Before we get going, Billy, and introduce you, but I hope you're right. I've got where is it now? Oh, here we go. I've got a bit of an intro I done for Romero. I specifically done this, Billy, for our club captain, who, what a man, what a player. What an individual. He really is. He inspires many before him. But anyway, it goes for anyway. Meanwhile, while Tottenham fans are sitting there on the final day, sweating like they're in a sauna fully clothed, Christian Romero is out there living his best life, watching his first club like he's retired already. Fighting for Premier League survival, and Romero's gone full football tourist mode. Man's probably sitting there with a scarf on, posting an emotional Instagram story, while Tottenham fans are screaming at the TV, needing a point to stay up. You can only imagine it now. Spurs concede in the corner, panic everywhere, and Romero somewhere in Argentina going, what a finish by the boys. I'm sorry, this is the most Tottenham thing ever. Our captain missing the biggest game in years, but somehow still managing to scout his own club out at the exact same time. Forget all or nothing. This club is now gone or watching someone else. But listen, maybe Romero knows something we don't. Maybe he's avoiding the stress. Maybe he's protecting his blood pressure, because supporting Tottenham this season should honestly come with a free therapy warning label. Big up to you, Billy. Hope you're doing all right, bud. Romero, what's he doing, man? What the hell is he up to?
I mean, it's just mad, isn't it? It's just, you couldn't write it, really. It's like, the club captain is not going to be there for the biggest game of the season, biggest game in my lifetime. I see there's already a few excuses coming out saying it's a medical thing, it's part of his rehab. There's no reason why that rehab can be done in England. You don't need to go to Argentina to train or whatever. It's just nonsense. I see there's already a bit of damage control coming out from De Zerbi and Romero's agent saying it's just part of his rehab. But the fact is, if he wanted to be there, he'd be there. That's just a fact. And it sums up his captaincy, to be honest. As a player that I've defended an awful lot this season, defended an awful lot in his time at Tottenham. So I think he's a brilliant player, and I like the way that he holds the board to account sometimes. He's disrespected Tottenham fans by doing this. So it's unforgivable. There's no way back from him from this, I don't really think. So he's. I don't think we'll see him again.
No, I don't think we will. I think, do you know when you walked off against Sunderland, Billy, right? And all the crying and all the emotion.
Yeah.
That wasn't crying because of Tottenham. That was crying
No,
because he
the World
might not
Cup.
make a World Cup.
100%. 100%.
I've took a lot of stick this year from Romero fans and the way I have this love-hate relationship with Romero, right? Follow him into the trenches, right? Don't mind him calling that the board. But how many times has he let us down this season? How many times we're getting sent off? Now this is the biggest snob, I think, to Tottenham any player could do. Our biggest ever game, I think, since 93, 94, even I think going back to 75, 76 or 74, 75, where we needed a win to stay up. And he just buggers off. He just buggers off after Argentina. Tell you what, lads, I'm going to go over there for a few days. But the thing is, Billy, the board let it happen. The club let it happen. It's just incompetence, isn't it? It's pure incompetence of the board that they allowed this to happen.
It's just weak leadership on every level. You know, that's our captain doing it. For those of, and I said this yesterday, and you know, I don't like to use him as an example because I don't like him. But can you imagine? I said this scenario. Can you imagine Morgan Gibbs White, not in a Forest, got their life on the line? Morgan Gibbs White goes to Marinakis and says, "Can I have the week off? I'm going to go to Argentina for a week. I'll miss the last game, but you know, I'll watch on TV or whatever." Marinakis wouldn't leave the room. Do you know what I mean? Our football club is encouraged and allowed. Like, there's just no standards of anything at this football club. They just don't care about stuff like that. Fans care about it. Players don't. The board don't. You know, some of them do. I did see Zerbi come out today and said Ben Davis wants to spend the week with the Spurs players and stay overnight at the Spurs lodge. And that's a player that actually cares about Spurs. James Madison, another player that actually cares about Spurs. People like Danso, you know, cared all season. But that should be the bare minimum. If you play for this football ship, that's the bare minimum. You are getting literally paid sums of money for, you know, that you're going to feed your families for generations from this football team. And you just respect that. It's unbelievable.
I totally agree, buddy. And look, Ben Davis, look, we know he's out of contract at the end of the season. Would you take him on as a coach?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Ben Davis, right, I know he gets a lot of stick from fans sometimes. It's obviously, you know, he's not the best player, but he's a very reliable player. Every single manager that's ever worked with Ben Davis loves him. Whether it's Conte, whether it's Mourinho, whether it's Pochettino, whether it's Ange, you know, whether it's Thomas Frank, and even De Zerbi now, and he hasn't even played for him yet. De Zerbi has come and praised him. You know, that's the kind of player you want representing our football club is Ben Davis. And you might laugh at that and say, well, he's rubbish, but sometimes it's just about, you know, standing up for what you believe in as a club and having somebody as a messenger and somebody as that. And Ben Davis could be that for us. I'm not saying Ben Davis is good enough to be starting for us next season, but what he can do is hopefully in the ear of these young players that are disrespecting our club or they don't quite know what to do yet, and, you know, really sort of be a role model for these players.
Yeah, no, I agree. Also, I want to touch on a little bit before we get into the press conference and take little quotes. I know you're only here for a short time, Billy. I'll go more in depth once you leave. But Jed Spence getting a World Cup call up. Do you know what? There's a part of me that's delighted for him. But I'm not an England fan, right? I'm an Ireland fan. But from outside looking in, I did do a show today with Jess and Nick and Josh, and we were talking. There was a lot of disbelief Trent Alexander didn't get in. As an England fan, looking at that squad, Billy, and looking at the inclusion of Jed Spence, is that a good call by Tuchel or a mistake by Tuchel, in your view?
I think it's an interesting one. Obviously, Trent, one of them is playing for Real Madrid, the other one is on the bench at Tottenham. So that's a bit strange, isn't it? But I think Jed's got two things on his side. One of them is that he can play left back and right back. And he's played most of it for left back at Tottenham. The other one is that he's very, very good one-on-one defensively. Probably arguably England's best player defensively, you could say. Best fullback defensively. Not as good as going forward at Trent Alexander, and he's definitely not as good a passer as Trent Alexander, who last tournament was playing in centre midfield for England, not forget. So I'm surprised at that. I'm also, you know, there's some other good fullbacks like Lewis Hall, who I think is brilliant, missed out. But I'm happy for Jed. I think, his versatility, he can play both sides, very good at defensive. Maybe Thomas Tuchel is just thinking if you're 1-0 up in 80 minutes in a semi-final, you bring Jed and really shut out the winger, you can't do that. So I'm pleased for him. It's crazy that he's got a broken jaw, isn't it, after that? The yellow card challenge from last week, the yellow card for a broken jaw. But there you go. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, do you know what, Billy? I was so glad when I get to Sunday evening or Monday morning, I don't have to talk about VAR again in the Premier League for another 3 months. Yeah. I mean, that is one subject I'm very much likely. We are going to get into it.
Now, the big subject is going to be England's World Cup squad now, isn't it? Because everyone's gone dual alley. No Cole Palmer, no Foden, no Morgan White. It's just, that's going to be the big talking point.
As an England fan, Billy, right? As an England fan, right? I have this luxury of looking from the outside in. It doesn't bother me, do you know? And look, I feel bad for you, and I feel bad for our subscribers if England don't do well in the World Cup. Of course I will. I'm going to feel bad for you guys because deep down, I know I'm Irish and I support the Republic of Ireland, but I do want you guys to do well. I want you to feel happy. And after the season we've had with Tottenham, I think it'd be lovely especially for English football, for England to go and win, where you've been so near, I think, so many times, especially in European Championships and the last World Cup. So look, I wouldn't begrudge you a World Cup win, though we probably won't hear the end of it for another 60 years, but I wouldn't begrudge you winning the World Cup.
Oh, I don't think you've got much to worry about there, mate, because I can't see us winning with that squad that we've put out. So, but to be honest, mate, my England fanism is all linked to Tottenham, really. I only was supporting England when Harry Kane was playing for us. That was my. Yeah. I mainly supported England for Harry Kane, and now that he's not at Tottenham, I don't really care about England as much. Not really. My love for Tottenham and England is nowhere near compared. And so I watch it. I watch the games. I watch all the World Cup games, but I'm not. To be honest, when England score a goal, it's nowhere near the same thing as when Spurs. So I have to say,
no, it isn't. No, I totally agree. Though I would disagree when Ireland play. I get the same buzzer when Ireland played, like when Tottenham play. I must admit, but again, it needed Ireland at this tournament. We're not there. But look, we're not going to go on. We're not going to carry on. I know it was all rigged. I know it's all rigged for Ireland not to get there, but we will get our way. Start conspiracy theory now. Big up to the Mum Overlord, member for 4 months. Thank you so much for your support and also coming on to the podcast as well. We're going to have to get you on as well, Billy, onto that podcast when you're free.
Yeah,
we'll definitely get you on to that. Look, just very question on the before we go back to deserving. We'll start looking through his press conference, Billy. Was the inclusion of Ivan Toney? I get it. We've been linked with him as well. Tottenham have been linked with Ivan Toney. Do you know? Should the question I want to ask you this, and maybe it's something the chat can answer as well. Should it really matter what league you're playing in? If you're doing well in that league, you should be good enough to play for your national side. Should it really matter that Tony's playing in the Saudi league? Should it really matter, or does it matter?
I don't think it really matters that much because to being a striker for England, you're going to be playing behind Harry Kane anyway. So I don't. Ivan Toney is not really a massively important to the England team, is it? Because whoever they are, you're going to get 10 minutes in there, or a game where they've already qualified. You're not going to play any. You're not going to start any games unless they're all dead rubber in the group stage. So, we don't have many options, England, other than Harry Kane. We've got Solanke, Watkins, and Toney. I would say are all about fairly similar ability. I would probably say, I think Watkins in the squad, isn't he? I think Watkins is probably the best of those. And, the thing is, when England play with one striker and one of them's Harry Kane, it doesn't really matter who else you take. Harry Kane's going to be that guy for 90% of the time, isn't he? So, Toney came on, obviously, he had a good, was it the Euros, I think, where he took the penalty? Very good penalty taker. So he might be useful in the penalty shootout if you get there. But other than that, I can't see him in many minutes. But I don't think, he's banging in goals this season, isn't he? And I think when you're a striker in particular, I think that's all that really matters. So if you're doing it in Saudi, or if you're doing it in, Scotland, or if you're doing it in France, if you're a striker going into the tournament, you just want to be banging in goals. Solanke's 3 Premier League goals this season. That's why he's not in the squad. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it really matters that he's in Saudi.
No. I look, for me, Solanke can go. He can sling his hook. He hasn't been good enough this year, and you know that as well, Billy. Big up to Iceman. He says, my wife's uncle said just before he died. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. He says, Spurs will win the European trophy in 24-25. Arsenal will win the Premier League in 25-26. And Spurs will win the Premier League in 26-27. He has 2 out of 3. Right. Okay. Wow. I'm going down to the bookies in the morning, sticking 100 quid on Spurs to win the league, to stay up and win the league.
If that comes in, you'll be able to retire. The odds you'll get for that.
Fet me.
Especially if we get relegated.
Yeah. Did you put a bet on that, Iceman? We would love to know. Did you put a bet on it? Big up for putting.
I know you can get. I saw someone's. You can get 17-1 for Arsenal to win the Champions League and Tottenham to be relegated. I see a few Spurs fans are emotionally hedging themselves that way, just preparing for the worst.
God, who's putting bet? Oh God, that's ridiculous. No, please, no. Let them winning the league, Billy, is bad enough. Yeah. I don't want to give them any more.
Yeah, I know. I can take the league, but the Champions League would be unbelievable. So come on, PSG. Please,
yeah, come on, do us all a favour. Big up to Giant68 as well, member for 11 months. He says, big up, Dermo, Billy, and chat. Billy, do you want to sing to Giant and the Mum Overlord? Brilliant. Do you know, loyalty? Amazing. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, big up to 1K100. It says that press conference was exhorting today. Just watching, I feel for De Zerbi and totally agree with him about wasting time. Not about wasting time talking about
this always happens to Tottenham. I don't know if you remember last year, right? So we were going into the Europa League final, and all the press conferences about that, the team leaks and the mole. Remember there was a mole inside Tottenham leaking the team. And every big game that we have, there's always some kind of bloody distraction going on somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Focus on Tottenham is a circus, isn't it? That's why.
He did put a bet in it, Billy. He put 50 quid in it at $1 million to 1.
I can drinks on him if that happens. I know, I'm sure he'll be a very rich man.
Remember who your mates are, Iceman. Yeah, just me and Billy. Yeah. Remember us. Yeah, just remember us.
We'll just take $1 million each. We'll take $1 million each of that.
Yeah. He says, and that was the max Ladbrokes would pay out. Wow. So basically, oh God, I bet you'd be sweating on
cash out, mate. I'll tell you now, cash out.
Yeah, cash out. Exactly. Right, Billy, let's crack on. Let's go through the press conference, bud. And this is the team news for the weekend. Solanke's available for Everton. Clash the decision to be made on whether he will start the game or not. James Maddison remains available, and Jed Spence is also available despite having a broken jaw. Billy, James Maddison, I was doing the predicted lineup today, and I've done 2. I had 2, and I went with my head instead of my heart. Would you start James Maddison on Sunday and sort the hell with the consequences?
I mean, I would because I'm an idiot, but I don't think. I would because we have to gamble it. But there's no way to Zerbi. I think, unfortunately, no. I'm a risk taker, so I would do it and try and get one up and then take him off. But I think he's going to come on at like 60, 70 minutes again, like he did against Chelsea.
Yeah,
and that's as much as we're going to. I just can't see him start, unfortunately, as much as we need him. We desperately need him, but can't see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do you know what? I'm like you. I must be an idiot as well because I would have started him as well. I'm right up your street there. Yeah,
I would risk it. I'm always a big risker. I'd go for it.
Yeah.
Worry about the consequences later.
Exactly. But with the front 3, I will let you into a little bit of secret here, guys. I've dropped Morani. I put Richie on the left and Tell on the right. And Solanke up front. Do you think that's a front 3 that might work?
I think so. I guess if it's going to depend if Solanke is fit to start or not. Personally, I'll be doing anything to get Morani out of the first 11. Even if you have to play Jed Spence with a broken jaw right wing, or Porro right wing and Spence right back or something like that. But I would, Richie played in the Europa League final off the left and was very good. Tell can play on the right, and then you've at least got 2 strikers up there in Solanke and Richie that can do damage. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if he sticks with the same team as Chelsea and Morani actually starts.
Yeah, do you know what? I probably agree with you, but I just went different. But look, we would talk about that more tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Predicted lineup, guys. We're doing it live, so do join us then, and then join us at 8 for the pre-match build-up. We're being joined by by Tony, the West Ham fan, and I think he's bringing another West Ham fan with him. So we're going to have a bit of a discussion tomorrow night.
I wonder how everyone's feeling tomorrow night. It's going to be nervous, isn't it?
It is. How are you feeling, Billy? 43 hours out. How are you feeling, bud?
Terrible, to be honest, mate. Terrible. It's just awful. I just want it to be over. I just want it to be over and done with. I can't hack it, to be honest with you. I'm not built for this. No. I've been going, and we should have been going into the last day, be able to enjoy it, but we can't. It's going to be a horrendous experience for Spurs fans. We just got to pray that we come out the other side of it alive, but I'm not looking forward to it at all.
No, I did see this that you're about to read now, and this quote you're allowed to read now, because I see we've even sent De Zerbi crazy, haven't we? Because he's talking about the Italian weather for some reason. Yeah,
I think he's still in Italy. We've sent him crazy. I had to double check when I saw what? There. It's true, isn't it? Yeah.
It is good. I love De Zerbi's press conference. You don't know what he's going to come out with. You really don't.
I think he thinks he's still in Italy at the moment, by the looks of things.
I think he does. I think he's saying, yes, I'm in Milan. I'm in somewhere lovely in Italy, Maranello. Right. Which injury news? The question was asked. Is Solanke able to play? And basically says Solanke's available. We have to decide if he starts the first 11 or not. Maddison is available, so it's tough to decide before the game how many minutes he can play. Of course, he is a different player, top player for us, but we have to analyse the physical condition, the Italian weather, and a lot of things are both over.
Why we're analysing the Italian weather, but there you go.
Yeah, hang on. Can I just check something? Hang on. I just want to check. Yeah, Google is telling me I'm in Ireland, and probably Google's telling you you're somewhere in England. So we're not in Italy, De Zerbi. Okay, sorry. Not unless Tottenham have joined Syria or
Mind you, it's going to be like Italian weather, isn't it? Actually, apparently it's going to be 30 degrees on Sunday. So
it is.
Heat wave.
I know you're going there, right, Sunday, Billy. And look, we'll send you the link. Probably get you on before the game, or we'll definitely get you on after the game. We did read out the statement for Change for Tottenham, mate, and I am going to put it all up on the comment section tonight. I have reposted it on our X page as well, what you come out yesterday, and I put my little bit to it. How important is it that after the game, whatever happens, that we start this process now, Billy, of letting the owners know this is not acceptable? And maybe De Zerbi sort of getting behind this as well. Would that be important for you, for De Zerbi to come out, and maybe in the summer, and maybe getting him to agree to what we're doing? Do you need that sort of influence, do you think, to get this rally going?
I think so, and I think it's very important that fans stand up for ourselves at the end of the game. It's not an ideal, it's not a perfect situation by any means, because we'd have loved this game to be a game where we could have done a big protest before the game. That was the original plan. Obviously, it's gone down to the last game, so we can't do that. So the only solution is to do it after the game, but we had to do that rather than nothing, because this can't be allowed to happen for Tottenham. And I'll tell you a couple of spoilers, which no one would know yet, but we've got 3 new banners for Change for Tottenham, and the idea is that banners are going to come out at the end of the game when the players are doing their lap of appreciation or whatever it is. I don't know if they'll even do that if they get relegated, who knows. But when you see the banners on Sunday, none of them are aimed at the players, none of them are aimed at Roberto De Zerbi. They are all aimed at the board with an eye on Langer. So it's very important to make that message clear that when De Zerbi's walking around and he sees those banners, hopefully he knows that this is nothing to do with him. This is those above him. You'll see when you see the banners, you'll see the messaging is nothing to do with the players or De Zerbi. It's to do with the board, isn't it? And that was a really important distinction to make, because what we don't want to see is, Roberto and the players who have almost tried everything to try and get us out of the mess. The players that are left are really trying. I know that they, different result, but De Zerbi has turned them around for sure. So it's very important that this is directed at the board, not the players and De Zerbi. And this is our last chance of the season to stand up for ourselves as fans. And it's not ideal. It would have been great if we could have been safe a few games ago and then protest. But I just hope that leaving that stadium, the owners know that fans are not going to accept this season ever again.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Billy. And also, maybe during the summer we can continue on here, Billy, and continue putting the pressure on the board and continue doing.
And people, I know, Yeah, and people have spoken about training ground and stuff like that over the summer. So there's lots of options, events that happen over summer. So hopefully this will just be the start of the new chapter of protest, really. And I have to say, the response online, because we were obviously, it's been really, really difficult this season for change for Tottenham because of the relegation situation. Fans have been unbelievable at supporting the team. So it's been really difficult to know how to judge it. But the statement that we put out has been received very, very positively by fans, because I think just so many fans, it's been, usually we get a bit of stick, bit of this, bit of that, but this one has been very well received by the fans, because I think everyone realizes that we can't accept this as a fan base.
Yeah, I agree, Billy. And look, you, me, supporting Tottenham a long time. I'd be 45 years next year. You'd be probably, I don't know, 30 odd years for yourself. We've seen it all. We've seen glories. Have you ever? Did you ever see us win an FA Cup? Do you remember?
I was 1 year old that year, so no, I didn't really.
So you've never ever seen us win an FA Cup?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't even seen us in the final.
That is shocking.
Yeah.
That is
when
shocking.
The first things I learned about them was that we are the FA Cup team. We haven't been to a final since.
I was a teenager.
When I was a kid, we had the record for most FA Cups with 8, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Arsenal, I think, have now got 12, whatever it is. Now Man City have equaled us as well.
Yeah, do you know, I've seen this in 3 FA Cup finals, 4 FA Cup finals, actually. Won 3 and lost 1.
Yeah.
I don't remember 81. I barely remember I vaguely remember 82. Definitely remember 87. And then definitely remember 91. But I've been alive. That's shocking.
We've been in every other cup final. We've been in the Champions League final since Carling Cup, loads of them. But I can't believe we've never been in an FA Cup final in the last 30 years, or now it'll be 36 years since we've been in an FA Cup final. And we are the FA Cup team.
Yeah, I know. I was a teenager last time we were in the cup final. I was 13.
Yeah.
God, that is shocking. That's mind-boggling. Big up to Nigel. Nigel create a thing, but big up Nigel. It says, finger crossed Spurs get at least a draw against Everton. Good luck from a Norwich fan. Well, thank you so much, Nigel.
Did you see,
you're very welcome, bud. And hit the like and subscribe. Big up to you.
Definitely. Did you see David Moyes' quotes saying he wants to keep Everton up as well, keep West Ham up as well?
Yeah, I did. I went, you fucker.
I'm glad to see a Norwich fan, at least a Norwich fan is supporting us, because no one else does.
Yeah, we'll take anyone.
Yeah.
Hang on. We even take Arsenal. I mean, even I went into another chat. It was an Arsenal fan. I know the fellow who runs it, and I just went there, congrats, like as a mate. And he said to me, I won't be supporting Tottenham on Sunday. I was supporting West Ham because I've got half West Side connection. I went, you fucker.
I've actually seen you Arsenal fans. They're the only ones that are actually saying, I actually don't want Tottenham to go down because I missed the North London derby, They're the ones that are actually... I think both sets of fans would miss that game because it's the best derby in the country by miles. It's the game of the season. You want... And to be fair, Jason Cundy on TalkSport said the same as well. He wants Tottenham to stay up because the first thing he looks at as a Chelsea fan is Tottenham versus Chelsea. And you want big games in the Premier League. So many games are rubbish now, aren't they? That, you want the North London derby, you want Tottenham Chelsea to be there. So actually, it's our rivals are the only ones that want to keep us up at some point.
I know. Jason Cundy, I have this thing with Jason Cundy, right? That he's an absolute idiot. I don't like him. He played for us. You wouldn't think he played for us.
Yeah, played for us.
Honest to God. Big up to Nigel, who also puts in, I remember the great goal scored by your Argentinian. Yeah, Ricky Villa in the 3-2 win against Man City. Oh, that's a great
we won't get a great goal by our Argentinian this weekend, will we? Because he'll be in Argentina.
Oh, yeah, that fecker. He can feck off. And Gary Lineker always scored past my team when he played for Spurs. Yeah, we've had some great. Now, on Romero, De Zerbi, I wonder how he was going to play this. And he said he spoke with the medical team. Well, that's the first red flag. He spoke to the medical staff. I mean, that's a red flag in itself, to be fair.
Never trust those bloody hell.
And anyone taking notes from our medical team need to seriously look at themselves. Together, they decided to go to Argentina to complete his rehab. I think what happened, Billy, was Romero looked at our medical staff, went, nah.
Yeah. I'm getting out of here. I wish we could do the same.
I'm getting out of it. We spoke last week with me, and he showed always his desire to stay with us. He is injured. I'm not stupid. If I understand there is any player who thinks for himself before the club, I can't be the same Roberto. But with QT Romero, I can't say nothing because with me, he has been correct from that. Is that him, Billy, sort of trying to, back him up a little bit? Do you think playing the sort of mind games a little bit? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of damage limitation as well, isn't it? And trying to, play down the situation. And again, it's just ridiculous going into our biggest game, maybe ever. We're talking about this, isn't it? I think he's just trying to downplay the situation. But the same happened to Thomas Frank when he did that post, and the same happened to Thomas Frank when Romero did that post. And he's just been a distraction all season. It's just, this is our captain. Yeah,
I just don't get it. The Keeler's
one thing I will say, right? I mean, you would have had some better ones in your lifetime than me, but there's just no way people like Ledley King, Son, Lloris, those are big captains in my lifetime would have done that. And there's absolutely no chance people like Gary Mabbott would do this.
No.
Those kind of captains that you had in the 70s and 80s and 90s, there's real proper Tottenham captains. But even in modern years, Son would not be doing this. No way.
No. I know. Look, I can go back to Graham Roberts. I can go back to Steve Perriman. My captains when I was a small kid. Richard Goff as well. As you said, Gary Mabbott.
Ledley King.
Yeah, Ledley King. They wouldn't do this. If that was Graham Roberts, right? Romero went to Graham Roberts back in the 80s, said, right, we needed him for the cup fight. Graham Roberts would have him on the peg. Yeah, he would literally leave him on a peg and say, you're staying here. I don't think players, Billy, and maybe I'm wrong. I think there's a load of players that care about the club. I think James Madison cares, as you said earlier. I think there's other players that generally do care about the fans. We had James Madison coming out. It's an embarrassment we're here. And I think he's speaking, You can't blame James Madison because he's been injured all year. And bless him. And he's coming out and he's trying. But there is players like Romero whose commitment to the club are not there. And I've got stick for it. I've been called a hypocrite and everything this year for the way I've had my take on Romero. Well, I'm just being proved right. He's proven himself to be what he is. Argentina first.
Well, they always say, don't they, as well?
Yeah.
And they always say actions speak louder than words, don't they? And Romero's actions this season have been a lot louder than his words. And look at again, you just have to compare to Ben Davis.
Yeah.
Who many fans ridicule, but he's doing everything he can to be with the squad.
Do you know what? I totally agree. I totally agree with you, Billy. Totally agree, 100%. But
Tequila says, through the bottom.
Sorry.
I would say I agree with Tequila right there. I would strip Romero of the captain before Sunday and give it to James Madison and say, this isn't accepted at Tottenham. You strip to the captaincy, don't come back. James Madison is now the captain for Sunday.
Do you know what? I would wholly agree with that 100%. Totally agree with that. Totally agree. I think James Madison...
They've probably allowed it to happen, haven't they? They've bloody allowed him to go there.
Yeah. I just don't get it. I just do not get it. The biggest game of a long time, and they're allowing the club captain. Yeah, get him gone. I agree. Big up to Boris as well. Well, it's the biggest game of the century, and we know that's a fact. Big up to Ed Fan from Hamburg in Germany. Big up, Ed. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Tony Master says, my first Tottenham match, 78, was Spurs 2, Derby 0. Aussie's first league goals. How lucky was I? Happy days start until I die. Tony, big up to you, bud. Big up to Brian as well. And he says, I believe Romero wants Spurs to go down so he can get an easier exit at cut price. I wouldn't be surprised if he went on strike if Spurs survives. And hey, Tequila, you're watching SmackDown tonight. Do you know what? I totally agree. Are you right down for a bit more, Billy? I know you're in a rush, bud.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. That's good. More on Romero. He was asked, he says, I will answer your decision with the medical staff. I still don't believe they went to the medical staff, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a short, fat Irish fella that talks shite about Tottenham for 365 days of the year. Medical, and I think he can't change nothing. Well, the medical team couldn't even get Kulu fit, what the hell have they chanced with Romero? If Romero tomorrow is in the stadium or not. And finally, I have no time to lose energy, to lose thinking of other things. We have to be focused on just the game. And I think we have players good enough to achieve our target. I agree with the last bit. I don't you, Billy? I agree with that last bit. No time to lose energy, to lose thinking of other things. I think that's the right thing, isn't it? Just say, well, I haven't got time for it. Just move on.
Yeah, I think that's everything in his quotes. I don't believe that De Zerbi is not annoyed at Romero. I think he probably is deep down, but probably just doesn't want this to become a distraction for everyone. So he's just saying, let him get on with it.
Yeah, exactly. Now we've got a little bit about Jed Spence. He says, under you so far, Jed has only made one Premier League start. He'll be part of the England one. Congratulations to Jed for that. He's Jed Spence has this sort of, doesn't he, Billy? He has this sort of bad reputation, this sort of reputation of he thinks of himself, but apparently he's a great guy. De Zerbi loves him. He spoke with his mum outside the stadium, his family, and he said the same. He has a big heart. He's a big player. He's a big guy. And all of us were happy that he can go to play at the World Cup. Do you think De Zerbi's the right manager for Jed Spence to take him to the next level? Because I think it is.
God, yeah. I think that, Jed Spence is one of those characters. And I say this as a school teacher as well. I know exactly how it goes. If you give that character an inch, they'll take a mile. And, you saw it under Thomas Frank. Jed Spence needs someone like De Zerbi, who's very sort of disciplinarian and very strong. And he will get on board with it as well. Jed Spence needs a really strong, authoritative figure. Which is why he worked really well under Ange. Ange takes no shit from no one, neither does De Zerbi. Thomas Frank is a bit like a supply teacher, isn't he? Where he goes in and tries to be friendly with everyone. He's got no sort of, when he's shouting at you or whatever, you're not going to be scared of that, are you? De Zerbi and sort of has that aura of really authority, of real. And I think with De Zerbi as well, like one of those people that you just want to lead, follow by his example, because he's so passionate and so, strong in everything that he believes in. A bit like Ange was, a bit like Conte is. And, I know Conte and Jed clash because Conte didn't want to sign him in the first place. But I think those are the kind of characters that Jed Spence needs. And and Tuchel is another one of those as well, which I think is why Tuchel likes him, So I think De Zerbi is definitely the right manager for Jed. And I think Jed Spence, again, he gets a lot of stick sometimes. But I think people forget that every time he comes off the Tottenham, he's playing out of position. He's playing the left back rather than a right back when he's a right-sided player. So, and his versatility has been so useful.
It has, and I think he gets a lot of stick wrongly as well. Look, we all know he didn't have the right attitude, but as you said, under Van or under De Zerbi, you have that discipline, a bit like an Alex Ferguson type manager. I think players get straightened out pretty quickly. He was asked then about Sunday. Sunday's the final for Spurs. Sunday is the final for Spurs. It's a big game, obviously, for West Ham as well. Do you play for the win from the start, or do you look to protect the draw? Basically, he said we can't change the style or mentality. We have to play with order, with the right behaviour, with the ball, without the ball. But we can't change ourselves, because if we change ourselves or what we have done in my time, because I can't speak before I came here, normally we have to be focused on counter-attack because we are very good parts of football, so on and so on. He does end up in saying that, but I think also we have the qualities and the players good enough to play a good game and to stay up. If you were De Zerbi, and I hope he does this, I hope he just focuses on the game and let the West Ham game take care of itself, Billy. But us as fans, you're going to want information, what's happening at the London Stadium. I know I've got two people already that I'm going to trust will give me the right information from the London Stadium. They're Leeds fans, so they'll be passing in the score for me. Now, keep me up to date what's happening there. How important is it the manager and the players just have to focus on the game and leave the worrying to everyone else? Because I think that is vital.
That's got to be mentality. Because I don't know if I'm sure you would have done with our, I know we have a few Leeds collabs with the channel. I don't know if you saw the bloody injury list that they've got for the weekend, but I saw Daniel Farker's naming about 10 players are injured, which is great. Yeah. So I personally am going into this assuming that I'm going to win on Sunday. I really do think they will beat Leeds, just because Leeds, again, they're a really good team, really hard to beat, and they haven't lost they haven't lost in March the 1st in the Premier League. But they're probably by now They probably, achieved everything they needed this season. Brilliant season, FA Cup semi-final, stayed up easily in the end. So with all these injuries, they'll probably be, West Ham. It means a lot more to West Ham, doesn't it, in this occasion? So I'm too personally assuming that West Ham will win. So I know De Zerbi will go out there for the win as well. Because then it's a bit like the old quote, isn't it? If what Bill Nick said, where if you fail aiming high, then we might just draw instead of losing it. But the problem is you play for a draw, and this is what happened. I think West Ham fans will say as well when they played Crystal Palace against that weakened team, and Nuno sort of played for a draw. And when you play for a draw, and if it goes wrong, you lose anyway. So always got to go for the win for me.
Yeah. I think this year, Billy, right? I think there's been a lot of missed chances by us and West Ham. Look, on Leeds, I think Leeds will fight to the bitter end. I don't think they're going to roll over for nobody. I think they will fight. And I like Farke's sort of attitude when he was asked
really
the question.
Really, really good manager, I think.
He is. And somebody asked him, what about Sunday? And he said, what about Sunday? We want 3 points. We want to finish it. And I like that. And there's a lot of people putting it out there that Leeds are going to roll over and Tottenham going to go down and all this. I've never thought for 1 minute that other teams would do us a favour. It's down to us to get us out of this mess. Exactly. We got ourselves in here. It's out there. Now, I wasn't very supportive.
The last 2 weeks, teams have done us a favour and we haven't taken advantage of it. So it doesn't really matter. It's got to be us. We lost that Chelsea game. We drew that Leeds game. So it's our own problem now.
It is. I mean, that Chelsea game, Billy, I don't know about you, Bob, but I felt I wasn't very supportive of the players. I was very angry with the players, the team. I was very angry. And maybe that was my emotion coming out of where we are. We needed a point and we needed just that to stay up. Sunday I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to support the team no matter what. And look, Billy, if we go down, we'll go down. We deserve to go down because we'll be one of the worst teams over the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Out of 75 games, Billy, we've won only 20 of them.
That's it's unbelievable, isn't it, for a team like Tottenham?
And we've lost 35 out of 75.
Yeah, that's relegation form. That is relegation form.
It is.
Now you are where you are. I mean, the league table doesn't lie, as they always say.
Yeah, but we as Tottenham fans, we will, if we stay up, this channel ain't going nowhere. So even today, people have asked me, "Is Dermo, are you gonna leave the channel? Are you gonna wind up the channel to get relegated?" No, this channel is staying exactly where it is, where it's going to be, and where it will be for the next 10 years. Even if we went down to the Conference League, we will still do our normal content on this channel. That's how bloody mad I am. But we're not going anywhere. In the summer, we're going to get the protests out there about the ownership. We're going to put pressure on the board. From here, I'm going to do my bit here. Billy would do his bit with Change for Tottenham. And the guys that work on the channel with me will all do our bits. Even when I'm over in England, I'm going over for 10 days. If you're doing something by the stadium, Billy, let me know. And I'll come down.
Well, either way, I'll love to meet for a pint, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. Look, going back to the captain, just wonder if you think it shows commitment from him and if it's decision to stay in Argentina or to come back and give moral support to his team because he is the leader of this football club. And basically, De Zerbi's probably getting pissed off now. He keeps asking questions about Romero. He'd rather talk about other things. And he says sometimes, and he speaks about Ben Davies, which we've already touched on. Does it show that Ben Davies is more of a old school leader and probably Romero? I'm not trying to defend him here, but maybe Romero's the new breed of leaders, Billy, and maybe Ben Davies is a throwback to the old type captains. Would that be fair, or am I giving Romero too much sort of leeway here?
No, I don't think so. I think it's very fair. And again, the players that we've mentioned about before, your Gary Abbott's, your Bradley Kings, your Graham Roberts, Steve Perryman, all those kind of players that we all grew up with, learning about. Romero is he's nowhere near that level of leadership. He's not been all season, and it's great that he has high standards of the board. Don't get me wrong, that's good that he called the board a few times. But at the same time, he's not backed up on the pitch himself. I know he might be disappointed that we didn't make signings. We're not competing at the top or anything like that. But at the same time, you need to be loyal. Son showed loyalty last year, and Davis has shown loyalty. So, yeah, I do agree with Tequila. It does feel like we don't have any players like that at all anymore. And we don't even have any players that come through the academy anymore in the first 11. There's none. So, that needs to be addressed by De Zerbi as much as anyone. Is that we need to get some, players like Mikey Moore coming through the team and actually improving them. Tottenham players again. It wasn't long ago when we had Mason, Kane, Bentaleb, Winks, all these Tottenham academy players in the starting 11. Players that come through. Now we've got no one.
Yeah, I agree. I was lucky enough, Billy, right? And just to go on here, just to finish off, and then I just got one point, then we're going to end off. He was asked, do you think Chris Romero has played his last game for Tottenham? I think he has. Do you think he has, Billy? Do you think that was the last time we'll ever see Romero, Sunderland away?
Yeah, without a doubt, I would say. I don't think there's any way back from this. The fans won't forget it. He probably wants to go. The board probably want rid of him. There's just no way back from this here.
No. The one thing I was going to ask, Tequila, if we stay up, I got my light or a little. You're going to need an awful lot of lighters and an awful lot of petrol, believe me. But look, it is important Sunday. We've got to get behind the team, Billy, for the 90 minutes plus minutes. It's important. We've got to give it our all.
Yeah.
The only worry I have is the players themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know how Spursy would it be if we both lose?
You know what? That's my current prediction at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think we'll both lose. I think that's more likely than anything. Actually, we'll both lose. But imagine if we're losing and West Ham are losing. Just imagine that last 30 seconds would just be horrific as a fan, wouldn't it? You just know that West Ham will get a chance at the end, and you need to put the West Ham game on the big screen in the stadium, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They actually do. Look, Billy, we're going to do a lot more over the weekend, build up to this game on Sunday. Look, it is massive. It's bigger. I think this is the biggest game in Tottenham's history since 76, 70, 75, 76 or 74 when we had to beat, I think it was 74, 75. We had to beat Chelsea to stay up and we beat them 2-0.
God, wish we could have done that on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We're talking about it right now.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's going to be a roller coaster on Sunday, Billy. It's going to be lots of ups and downs. But we can't lose hope, can we, bud? We cannot lose hope.
We can't. We have to remember as well, West Ham do absolutely anything to swap places with us right now. So that's what we've got to remember. Yeah.
Point. All we need is 1 point. Guys, thank you for watching After the Presser. The last one of the season. I'm going to miss these After the Presser. I'm going to have to wait till August before the next one. But look, it's been a long season. And I just want to say thank you. And I will be doing this over the weekend. I want to say thank you to all of you that have watched us this season, who have supported us through the thick and thin. But there's one person in particular I want to thank. I want to thank Mrs. Tron, because she's the one that supports me doing this. She gives me the support and also the proper criticism when I don't do things right in the channel, or she sees things I'm not doing right. She's the first one to say, Domo, you should do this. And she's normally 100 times right. But for her support and her encouragement for letting me do what I do, I want to give her a massive thank out, because she deserves it. And she has to put up a lot as well, because there's a lot of things I can't commit to during the season that I have to say I'm going to have to put it on the back burner because I've got a show or that. And I'm very lucky. So a big shout out to Mrs. Tron. And I just want her to know that. She's probably listening to it as I am thanking her. But yeah, she deserves an absolute medal. She really does. So big up to her. But big up to you guys as well for supporting us, for hitting the sub button, for being here. But we ain't dead yet. One game to go. And you know what? As Rocky says, it ain't over till it's over. Billy, do you want to plug anywhere before we go, buddy?
Yeah, I'll hopefully see a few at the protest on Sunday, and come on, you Spurs.
That's it. Big up. And big up to Nigel. Great work, lads. Come on, you Spurs and Leeds. Big up to you. Well, listen, are you going on anywhere, Billy? Do you want me to redirect you to wherever you're going next? Or
No,
going on
I'm going out to take my mind off Spurs. So.
Okay. Well, guys, do a redirect over to JSY Talks Football. That's where I'm sending you. So do that. Do THFC Raid. Thank you all for watching. We're back tomorrow night at 8 with Tony, the West Ham fan, and a guest. We will be quizzing him. We will be putting them under pressure. And then Sunday, we start at 3. The build-up starts at 3 o'clock here. Much along after the whistle. Probably Billy will be in touch as well with the protest. We will be talking to him, hopefully. And
might be after a few pints, I'm afraid, but I'll be there. Might be after a few pints.
Yeah, definitely. Or vodka, or whiskey, or brandy. On that bombshell, me and Billy are discussing drinks for Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs. Come on. There you go. Right, hang on. But handy if I actually ended the stream, wouldn't it? It's been one of those days. See you later.